Looks like Palafreight have repainted their DC-3. Yeah, back at my freeware Palawan multi-airfield scenery again, which you can get from my mega folder. The link to that is in the description. Just gonna wait for this little guy who just landed to get out of the way, which does give me time to say my usual start to these Palawan videos, that this multi-airfield scenery comes with a set of missions to complete, and we're following that mission pack. Now, because of that, all of these Palawan Tour videos probably will make a bit more sense and be more enjoyable if you watch them in order. So if you're new here, check out my Palawan playlist and start with number 1. Okay, so he's safely in the compound and out of our way, so yeah, our turn. Let's get up in the air and line ourselves up, adjust my seat height, and let's go. We're flying. Yeah, so our next destination, that's over on the other coast at San Vicente, RPSV. A few more promotional items from the Museum of Large Photographs of Shiny Knobs to drop off over there. Now, they have a massive concrete runway, so it's all easy enough and we won't have any problems today. Interestingly, it has the same 0321 designation of where we've just took off from at Del Pilar, so I will try for the 03 end to save the company a bit of money. Although I do need to remember not to land short, as there is quite a big displaced threshold there. Now, not long after our amazing leader, President General Bumberg, took over running this country, she got an approved building company, the one where she had fired all the previous staff and then personally appointed friends and family members who were much better builders, and their first job was to extend the San Vicente runway to allow ex-plane Palafreight pilots to make worse landings. Although there was a small issue. When the work was inspected by the airport authorities, the extension was found to be rather rough, uneven, and the depth of concrete was far too thin to safely handle the weight of more than 5 Buddhists riding Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Now, this could only have been the fault of the concrete suppliers. Certainly there would be no blame attached to the building contractor not making the concrete slab thick enough in the first place. They were a General Bumberg approved company, so you know the quality of their work would be perfect. So the people which supplied this obviously inferior concrete, and who are totally at fault for the fiasco, that company has been closed down now, and the business owners, their wives and children also, have been sent to a prison camp, as they should be for such a failure. But being such a wondrous and intelligent leader, our amazing president did learn from the incident so that things could improve in Palawan. So not long afterwards, the airport authority people and inspectors at every airfield in the country were also fired, and they were replaced by the friends and family members of General Bumberg, who our glorious president appointed personally because they were much better airport and inspecting people. This is great news and another example of how our kind and caring president wants nothing more than to look after us little people and keep us safe when we're flying. So now that San Vicente has been inspected again by General Bomberg's much better inspecting family members, the displaced threshold is now available to land on, but with certain conditions and restrictions. Your touchdown speed needs to be less than the force needed to squash 1.5 hard-boiled eggs, and your gross weight needs to not exceed the 5 Buddhists on a Harley-Davidson motorcycles limit. Sadly, our cargo of shiny non-merchandise, that's a bit more like the weight of 7 Mexicans in a taxi that is also towing a caravan. So we can't land on the extension ourselves, but that's not a problem. Yeah, the rest of the runway is still very long, so that will be fine for us. So, airport over there to the right, and time to land. Which is good news, as I am a bit hungry. Before leaving Del Pila, I usually get myself a sandwich to eat on the way from a local coffee shop called Jed's. Unfortunately, that shop seemed deserted and shut down, so I wasn't able to get a snack today. Don't know what happened, but never mind. I can eat something after we land, as there is a small cafe restaurant in the terminal building, and I know they do fully tested and approved bagels there, so I might have one of those. And I'll also be able to then check my phone messages, as I seem to have got one from a guy called Dazza to say that his videos may go back to a more normal 1, possibly 2 a week from now on, as his mouse finger, it still isn't right yet, but there is improvement, and he can now at least click a mouse with only minimal discomfort, so he will now have other things which he can do as well, instead of only being able to make YouTube videos. Not sure what that message is or why I got it. Probably just spam, but I'll have a look after we've landed. It's a nice little tourist area around here, actually, with a few choices of places to stay. You know, a lot of the guest houses are fine with accepting pets and children, and some places even allow foreign people to stay. Although in fact there are a few foreigners who live here too, including an American guy called Jesse, who he is having second thoughts about his support for Donald Trump, which is of course 2 more thoughts than most Donald Trump supporters have ever had. Right, so we're all configured, flaps, landing gear, runway in sight, displace threshold identified, both of my socks pulled up to approximately the same height, my left nipple not overly erect, and my seatbelt secured and tightened. Ooh, ready for landing. Looking okay. Alright, that didn't seem too bad. Yeah, that was okay. I mean, actually last time I landed here they gave me a rating in my probationary logbook of touchdown intensity totally satisfactory. Now hopefully I can get another one today, as it would be great to have a nice pair of touchdown intensity totally satisfactories to look at in my book. Yeah, so fingers crossed. which is another thing that Dazza can sort of do now with the injured finger. Obviously all of that being thanks to General Bumberg's amazing medical care and advances in medical technology, as she wants nothing more than to look after the health of us little people of Palawan. Another aircraft on its way in. Oh, safely made it to the displaced threshold as well. Right then, let's go and park up here on the left. Then when I get out I can follow the blue walkway to the terminal building. Some days that's more difficult than others, but we will get there eventually. Then I can have something to eat. Yeah, that will do. So another Pala Freight delivery successfully made, on time, undamaged, and we didn't once get to see or hear from the Pope advertising his new instant noodles. Although I'm not sure it is the real Pope in those adverts, as he seems to have a different body shape in that one where he's wearing a bikini. Although I did try the noodles, and they were a bit rubbish, to be honest, but such is life. Yeah, I'll see you next time then. Bye.